Hey there, it's Chris. Have you ever finished a drawing in Procreate and thought, I like it, but the colors don't feel quite right? In this video, I'm going to show you 4 color tools inside the Adjustment tab that can completely change the mood of your artwork, all without repainting a single thing. Once you know these tools, you might use them every time. So let's get to it. So to find all your color adjustments, you'll go to your magic wand here. So these are all the adjustments. We're just going to focus on the color portion of all the adjustments. So let's start with hue, saturation, and brightness. So this is one of the easiest adjustment tools to understand once you know exactly what each word means. Hue means the actual color. So if I move the slider here, you'll see that the color changes. It doesn't make it lighter or darker, it just changes the color itself. So you can really have some fun, fun experiments here. Now my picture right now is all in one layer, so it just changes one layer at a time, not your entire canvas. So just note that. So that's great because you can just do little parts of it too and change that. So this changes the actual color of your layer. So it's kind of like spinning around a color wheel and asking what color you want it to be instead. So saturation means how strong or colorful something is. So if I move saturation up, it comes much bolder, much brighter. And if I move it down, it becomes much more muted, much more quiet, and eventually will become gray. If your artwork feels a bit too loud and bright, then you want to move that down, or more commonly I find if it's a little dull, you might want to brighten it up a little bit by going to the right. So it's kind of like, think about it as if you had a fresh set of markers and when you first get them, they're super vibrant, they're super saturated, and as you use them, they start to fade, they start to get duller, and that's kind of what saturation is. Okay, so let's look at brightness. So brightness means how light or dark something is. Think of it turning like a dimmer switch up and down. It's kind of what it is. So brightness will make it look brighter and wider, so you can really make it blown out, or darker, and it will bring in all the grays and black. So you can see that. So sometimes with all of these, very rarely are you going extreme. You're just usually maybe just bringing up just a few percentages to change things around a little bit. So the easiest way to remember it is hue changes the color, saturation changes how colorful it is, and brightness changes how light or dark it is. Next, we're going to go have a look at color balance. So color balance is a little bit more delicate than hue, saturation, and brightness. Instead of completely changing a color, it changes the feeling of your artwork. So think of it like adding a little bit of seasoning. So a little bit more warmth, a little bit more coolness, a little bit of pink, a little bit of blue. You're not repainting everything, you're just gently shifting the colors that are already there. So you'll also be able to adjust the colors within, if you tap on this little ellipses here, the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. So that makes it quite interesting. So if we start with shadows, you'll see that I'm moving the red. You're like, oh, what's happening? You'll see in the darkest areas, that is where it's changing it to be quite red, or actually kind of overlaying, bringing more red in, not making it completely red. And you'll see here, it'll make it cooler in the cyan area there. So I think it might be better to look at the mid-tones, see if we can't change that. Let's try this with the green. You see that the mid-tone colors are eking towards green. And again here, magenta, blowing that out that way. So you can just make, again, all of these I encourage you to have fun with, but typically you would just be doing very small adjustments too. And then you'll see the yellow. That's kind of neat, and the blue. Okay, and then you can change the highlights as well. So these are all going to be all your lighter areas. And just make these very subtle changes so it's quite washed out. We can have much more vibrant, much more pink. All these wonderful things. So you can change all of them separately. So it gives you a lot more control. So again, the biggest tip with color balance is just to use tiny little movements. Small changes usually look much more natural than big, overly dramatic ones, as you can probably see by the example. Color balance is not about completely changing your artwork. It's just about gently making little small adjustments to make your artwork feel a little bit more finished. So you don't have to recolor and go back and change everything, but you can just make these little adjustments just to improve what you've already done. So if we tap on curves, you'll see this comes up and it doesn't look super friendly. It might look, I don't know, perhaps intimidating. It just doesn't look as user-friendly, but don't be afraid of it. It's kind of like, again, another type of dimmer switch. So this part is for your darks, the bottom left-hand dot, and the top is for your light, the light parts of your painting, and the middle are your midtones. So if you tap in the middle, and I'm on gamma, just note that, so everything all together, your painting will become lighter and down becomes darker. So, and you, by the way, you can see how I've created this dot. Maybe you've done something wonky and you're like, oh no, how do I get it back? It's kind of hard. You can just undo, but just by tapping. So you can get rid of that. Just that's a good note, just in case you made a mistake. Or of course, once you get out, you can always undo it there as well. But just in case you're working in here, you can simply undo. Oftentimes an S curve is used, so bringing down the dark side just a little bit and the light side up just a little bit, and that will just create more contrast. So the lights are lighter, the darks are a little bit darker. That's often a way to just overall change and make a simple little adjustment. So start with gamma because that is overall all of the colors together, and you can, simply adjust that. You can see how that will make it darker and lighter. But maybe you want a little bit more pop, and that could be nice too. Just again, subtle adjustments, because if you start going overboard, you can see how that starts to really look terrible. So just subtle adjustments. And then you'll also notice you have red, green, and blue. So you can just adjust those all by themselves as well. So if you pull down from the lights, you'll see it goes green because that's opposite than the red. And if you pull this way, you can see that the more of the reds are coming in, which is quite neat too. So you can just make those subtle adjustments, and let's just see, maybe around there would be nice. You can adjust your midtones a little bit, and that's interesting. And then you can go to the green, do the same thing. So you'll see it's way too green, and then it brings in the warmth here because it's opposite. So those are all little adjustments you can make. And you'll see when you go back, it has what you had saved on there already, just to make that different. Okay, so let's have a look and see how that changed. So I'm just gonna go back and look, that's a little bit more vibrant. It has, all the colors are popping a little bit more. So it's just a matter of playing with it, tweaking it, just little teeny adjustments. At the end of your artwork, you can always ask yourself, does this need more contrast? Are the shadows deep enough? Are the highlights bright enough? Is the color balance looking lovely and vibrant? And, does my artwork overall feel a little bit flat? So this is a way to just make those tiny little curve adjustments to make your artwork feel so much more polished. So lastly, let's talk about gradient map here. So it takes light and dark parts of your artwork and gives them new colors. So it looks at your artwork and figures out where the shadows are, where the midtones are, where the highlights, then places colors onto those areas. A gradient is just one color slowly changing into the other, which you'll see here. So let's just have a look. So if I tap on this, you'll see one color is slowly changing into the other. The colors on the left usually goes on the dark parts, and the color on the right, and the color in the middle goes on the midtones, and the color on the right goes on the highlights. So the easiest way to remember is left equals shadows, middle, midtones, that's easy, right, highlights. Okay, so this obviously looks a little bit crazy at the moment. So you can see here, we have this slider, just like when we do the color drop, it's the same thing. So you can just go and slide your pen and just adjust that. So I don't recommend 100%. That kind of is a lot. So just doing it maybe subtly will give you that nice sort of overall color, kind of brings it all together by putting these gradient maps on. Sometimes, you don't always need to use them, but experiment with them because it does kind of combine things together and just marries all of your colors together to make it quite cohesive. So you can just check on that. So you can just change it. You can see how that's a totally different look. That's kind of nice. Maybe I'll just show you that one. This one, you can just see, oh, that's kind of neat too. See, it's giving different looks, different moods. This is sort of a mood changer type of adjustment. So it's a really great way, like I was saying, to unify the colors. That's the word I was looking for. And create that special mood. And you can create your own too. So you can just add this plus sign here. So to change your colors here, you just tap on it and then you can change to whatever color you want and change the center color as well. If you want to adjust that, maybe make it a little bit different and move that area there. And now you created your own gradient map. So you just tap on the plus sign, change your percentage of it, and away you go. Kind of like that Venice one a little bit better. So with just a few taps, like I said, you can unify those colors, just give it a whole other feel. It's kind of like an Instagram filter a little bit, sort of. It's a fun way, again, just to make that your drawings look even more polished and put together. And that's the thing about color adjustments. You don't have to get the colors perfect the first time. You can experiment and shift the mood and find exactly that feeling that you want after your artwork is already made. So if you're a beginner and want to understand Procreate in an easy and fun way, grab the free goodie bag linked below. It includes my free Procreate for Beginners course that gives you a full overview of everything you need to know about Procreate. We do some really fun projects in there as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more tips, tricks, and inspiration. And comment below what you're struggling with and what you'd like me to help you with. And if you want to keep improving your artwork, watch this next video over here. I think you'll really love it. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.